Hello everybody and welcome back to video 4 of grouping, and today I'm going to talk about compound time signature grouping. Okay, before I do that, I just want to remind you of something which may come in handy. In an empty bar, in any time signature, this is the symbol you'll use. Okay, it doesn't matter what time signature this is, this little symbol or this rest symbol signifies an empty bar. So it doesn't matter if this is 12-8 or 4-4, okay, which is a little bit confusing for maybe the younger people who are doing lower grades, because you will remember that this symbol equals the semibreve. Okay, it equals a semibreve. That is the rest marking for semibreve, which in your mind is 4 beats. And now suddenly you're being told that you can use this symbol for any empty bar, but that is correct. That is the rule. So just learn the rule and realize that you can use that rest for any empty bar. So if you have a whole bunch of rests and they're asking you to give the sign that equates to all of those rests in a bar so that it becomes an empty bar, that is the sign you use. Okay, let's move on. So we're going to be doing compound grouping today, and I'm going to start with 6-8. So remember, take a snapshot of these time signatures in your mind or in your mind's eye, and this snapshot here would be this. You've got 2 groups. This is compound duple. Remember to define it. And this is the most basic look of that. These stems are not going in the right direction, but it's 2 dotted crotchets. That's the main difference between simple and compound. Compound is always a dotted crotchet as a beat, and simple is a without the dot. And then that breaks down into subdivisions of 3, which is the compound time signature thing. Okay, 3 subdivisions within the beat. Nice and naturally within the beat. Okay, so to understand the grouping, what you could do is you could take a whole bunch of quavers here, and what you could do is change them up and see how that grouping would look. So for instance, let's say I put a rest in the middle here. That could be written so much better in its grouping with the beaming. And remember, beaming goes with grouping. So have a look at how nice and neat that is in terms of grouping. Remember, grouping is just for the musician to see where those 2 beats in that time signature lie, actually visually and graphically. Okay, so here's beat 1 and here is beat 2, or there's beat 1 and here is beat 2. Okay, and you can see how clear the beaming makes those beats look. You can see the front end of the beat there and the front end of the beat over there. Okay, let's do it another way. How about this? You have a crotchet and a quaver rest and a crotchet. This would be another way to do this. Your first group is there and your second group is there. There is no real other way of doing this, but let me show you what would be a terrible mistake in this question. Let me redo it. Is if you did this and this, and they said under the star please put in the right rests for this grouping question, and you said, oh, what's missing is 2 quavers. That would be wrong. Okay, oops. That would be wrong. Why? Because we're not in simple triple, we're in compound duple. Therefore the musician needs to see 2 beats, and at the moment he's seeing 1, 2, 3, and that's not the time signature we're in. Okay, so how do you do that correctly? You have to, let's do that again. You have to have the designation of the 2 beats. You may not fill this up with 1 rest because you're trying to show that there are 2 beats. So that definition is so important. It is compound duple. You're looking for 2 beats, not 3. So you absolutely cannot fill that up with a beat, because now it looks like you have, with a rest, because now it looks like you have 3 beats. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So the concept is to stick with the definition of the time signature. Okay, let me show you another very interesting rule, and this is once again a kind of an anomaly that you have to remember. Okay, so here's a quaver, 2 quaver rests, a crotchet rest, and a quaver. So what they would like you to do, the examining board would like you to do, is that if there is a note on the front end of the beat, they do not want you to fill up these 2 with a crotchet rest. For me, this is still okay to read as a musician, because I can see that's a beat and that's a beat. But this is a sort of an anomaly rule. I think I'm getting tongue tired today. And they want you, if the note is on the front end of the beat, they want you to put in 2 separate quaver beats. So please just remember that. That is a rule. But if the rest is on the front end of the beat, it's different. You can now put a crotchet rest, and they don't want this. And logically, you can see why they wouldn't want that, because if I wrote this out in a more sort of spaced way, look how confusing that is. I need to see the front end of this second beat. So this sort of divides that up nicely for me visually. Remember, it's a graphic thing. Okay, great. So that is just an anomaly. You need to just learn that if the note is on the front end, you are dividing up like that. If the rest is on the front end, you can use the full rest. Okay, right, let's move on. Compound quadruple, which is 12/8. It means that there are 4 beats that the musician has to sight read in the bar, and they look like that. And then please remember, that's the snapshot you have in your head of this. Okay, that each beat divides up into 3. Okay, cool. I can't emphasize that enough, because that's what guides you in the grouping and in the way that you're going to add notes and rests and so on. So there's just one rule I want to show you here. In 12/8, it's similar to 4/4 compound, sorry, simple compound, simple quadruple, compound quadruple. They are similar. And I've shot too many videos today. Okay. In that, you cannot beam across the middle of the bar, right? So you cannot do this in compound quadruple. You cannot put this rest spanning the middle or connecting the 2 beats in the middle. You cannot do that. That is a no-no. Okay, where's my red pen? This is a no-no. Right, so you have to separate this rest when you see it, and you have to do this, which also helps the musician see the 4 beats. Okay, so just remember that they don't like this beaming idea across the bar. I'm told that in traditional theory, this is also not an option, although I'm sure I have seen that at some point. So there's maybe a bit of confusion about that, but I'm told that this would be a better option across the middle of the bar like that. Sorry, to be those 2 notes to be tied together. Can you see what's happening there? So they don't want this. They want to see a clear division between beat 2 and beat 3. Okay, those are kind of some advanced areas in grouping. I hope that helps. The best way to go about grouping: 1, define it in words, and 2, go and practice. Okay, it is a rather complex heading in theory, and it takes some time to work out. And then go look at video 2, where I tell you to go and actually look graphically at some piano music to get an understanding of ultimately where grouping is going and what it's about. Okay, thank you.